Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Success Life and Fun Friend Friday. I am so glad to see everybody jumping in and joining me. We are going to get started early and we're going to get started quick. So take a minute, log in, say hello, and say hello to everybody in the room. I am excited for what's about to happen. It is Fun Friend Friday. So jump on in the room and let's get started. There we go. Good morning, Nora. Good to see you. Yes, Steve, it is Fun Friend Friday, and I found one more Fun Friend Friday frock or fiesta wear. I think this Fun Friend Friday frock is, I don't know, it kind of looks like orange daisies or something. Very, very 70s Fun Friend Friday. Good morning, Charles. Good to have you, a former fun friend. Good morning, Julia. Good to see you as well. Thank you guys, everybody, for all of your encouragement and support on my birthday. As you know, I did a Wounded Warrior Project fundraiser through Facebook. That's going to stay up for a couple more days because I had a couple people say they really want to contribute, want to be a part of it, just didn't have a chance to connect or get involved or whatever. So don't worry, all is good. Keep it up through the weekend. Good morning, Miss Sonia. I need to talk to you. Last night I was at a dinner and Tin Can Moments, I had to sort of table talk it and see what people thought. And I think I have the direction, but we'll talk about that. Good morning, Miss Margaret. I hope you're well up there in the mountains. Good morning, Joe. Glad you could join us as well. Fitness extraordinaire there in Miss Joe. She just inspires me when I see her like running marathons and things. Good morning, Juan. So everybody, we have a Fun Friend Friday guest. We will be starting in just a minute. In the meantime, what I'd love you to do is take a moment, share this out, and I'm just gonna double check my share here as well. Let me just go over here and see, there we go. And I'm just gonna go ahead and share it out now. And then I'm gonna encourage you to do the same so that you and your friends can take part in Fun Friend Friday. All right, I think we're working and moving and everything else is good. So, hey, Todd, hope you are well. Hope things are good. I am just double checking to see if Daniel, did you make it on? There you are, I see Daniel. Daniel is our Fun Friend Friday guest. And I'm gonna dive straight into Fun Friend Friday. Good morning, bom dia. See, didn't have to practice it. It's written over there on the cue cards. Good morning, Greg. Want to dive right in. There's so much with Daniel that I want to talk about and give a brief introduction. But again, remember the Wounded Warrior Project. Oh my gosh. Fun Friend Friday Wounded Warrior Project where is still on Facebook. I'd love to hit that goal. As I told you yesterday, it's a very personal thing for me. And so anything you can do to help just makes the birthday brighter. The kids did the cake, and just everybody's like, always, what you get? Books. I got books, and my son said, well, we knew you would use them. So, and I will. And I was quite happy that he didn't try and do something non-practical. That's not my kind of gifting. So anyhow, Fun Friend Friday in Fiesta Wear. We'll begin in just a minute. I'm going to invite our guest, Daniel Gomez, who is the author of You Were Born to Fly. Got my copy yesterday, read it. We'll talk into that, and so I hope Daniel will allow us to sort of do a little bit of a book report as we go through. But Daniel is also a John Maxwell team member, but he's also a motivational speaker. He's a coach. He's a sales trainer. And what I really liked about watching and seeing Daniel along the sides was that he really does train on sales. And so I'm hoping we're going to get to dig in and talk a little bit about that because all of us that are entrepreneurs, soulpreneurs, even mompreneurs are in the business of sales every single day. We have got to figure a way of getting our ideas from here to the other side and then getting them adopted and accepted. And so, hey, that is a big part of what we do every single day. And if we've got somebody that's specialized and succeeded at it, we got to take advantage of it. And so I'm going to ask Daniel, if you would, one more time to say hello, say good morning so that I can find him on the feed and invite him in. It gets so crowded up there on the top of Facebook that it's sometimes hard to see. So if you would, Daniel, do me a favor and just do a hello, do a hi, or ask to be invited into the room and I'll accept. For those of you who are thinking about Facebook or doing a Facebook Live or asking how you do it, So I always send out instructions. If you want a copy, feel free to ask me to send them over to you. But don't do a heart, Daniel. Do an actual word thing because it's hard for me to see. These are like 12 focals, not bifocals or trifocals. Always ask your guest to have their phone this way. There we go. So now I can hit over here. Oops, come on. Now you can see me fumble finger. Oh, come on, there he is. So I am actually scrolling through the screen right now because for some reason I'm not, there's Daniel. Daniel, you must not be on Facebook Live the same way I am. So I'm gonna have you take a moment and make sure that you are on a phone. An iPhone is always best, but don't go out and buy one this morning. And then have your phone in this mode as opposed to this mode, because when you're this way and I'm this way, Facebook doesn't like us and it fights back and tells us all kinds of crazy things. So make sure you're in this mode and then just log back in and log back out, because I know I see you, but for some reason it's not allowing me to invite you, which typically means that you're either working on a laptop or an iPad or another device, and the two devices don't always communicate. So let me know if that makes sense to you, Daniel. Are you on a phone? If so, then maybe you're this way and not this way. And it won't always let me connect. So just log out of Facebook, log back in, and we'll reconnect. If you're trying to share it through something like Be Live or one of those other tools, Facebook doesn't like it. Why? And we're going to do a little mini lesson why we reset. So Facebook, for all of you people that try and create and understand social media, Facebook is a business platform. It was not designed for you to be able to share pictures of your kids and your aunts and your uncles. There we go. Bring Daniel in camera. Everything they do is designed to grow their business model and assist you in yours. And so when it says, things like this, and we're using their platform, we got to do it their way, not our way. There you are, my friend.
Hey, good morning. Good morning. Give me a second to set up. I was on my computer, so
see,
no bueno, right?
I know my audience, people. That one thing about these entrepreneur people is they're like, oh, I'm just going to do a little bit different, or I'm going to go a little left when everybody goes right, or I'm going to think out of the box when everybody's still in the box. And I love that, but sometimes technology doesn't. So you look great, my friend. You are settled up. Just turn your camera just slightly so we can get the DG perfectly. There we go. There we go. That's what we need. So he has he has hats, he has shirts, he has books. Yeah, there we go. So thank you, my friend, for joining me this morning on Fun Friend Friday.
Good morning, everybody. I'm excited to be here. Thank you so much. I actually cut my workout short this morning. I was in a hurry. I said, okay, I gotta go. And okay, it's been raining. I was in Austin for about a week last week, and apparently when I was gone, it rained the whole week, and this week it's rained about half the week. So we've had rain probably for the last 10 straight days here in San Antonio. So it's been pretty different. It's good. The grass is dead, so we needed the water.
I was gonna say, it's kind of a mixed thing, because in Texas you pray for rain, but you have to monitor it because you guys aren't so used to it that anything over an inch is considered a flood. And I'm a little disappointed after reading your book and meeting your wife in your book. I figured you would just move your whole workout schedule up an hour.
Well, she's the one that keeps me motivated. First of all, I want to say good morning to everybody. And Eric, thank you so much for having me on your show. I'm honored to be here. So I don't want to be rude and talk about me, but thank you for having me. It's a privilege. So thank you, Mr. Reid. It's a blessing. And so let me start off by saying that and welcoming me into your audience. So thank you for that. And my wife, she woke up before me. She wakes up at 3:30 because she goes to a fitness class on Wednesdays and Fridays, and whenever I have a excuse, I don't want, like today, I've been tired all week with just kind of getting the pre-orders going, and I've been staying up till 11 and 12, and I'm usually in bed by 9:30, 10 o'clock. That's my routine because I wake up about 4 or 5. And but she got up this morning at 3:30, and I'm like, what excuse do I have?
I totally hear you. So everybody, while we're still fresh, still new, do me a favor, hit the share button, invite your friends and family and cousins and uncles and aunts and all of the familia into the share for me. I've hit my share button. Take a moment, hit your share button, Daniel, if you already haven't. so that your friends and family can know what you're doing this morning besides sleeping in.
How do I do that?
If you're on the Facebook Live on my page, just hit share and then share it to my page. Not my page, but your page.
Awesome.
Yeah, or you can always do it on the after. So I want to dive in because congratulations, #1 Amazon new release. Did I get it right?
Yes, and actually I woke up this morning, #1 bestseller on Christian youth ministry. So
so you gotta love that. To be able to say, I'm gonna do this and do it, do it with a little bit of like, what's gonna happen, how's it gonna happen, what's it gonna be received by, and then for Amazon to validate. And by the way, you guys, if you want to push them into I think there's an Amazon #1 Kindle award.
Yes.
And your Kindle release is the October 2nd. Do I have
October 2nd? Yes.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, I hit #1 on Christian ministry for youth. And it's funny because I guess whoever was #2, they probably called all their friends and told them to buy a lot of books, because I was #1 probably for about the way it works is you kind of, it goes back and forth by the hour, by the half a day. And I guess when they saw that this Daniel Gomez kid came by and all of a sudden it was #1, they're like, hey, what happened? And so I noticed I just been going #1, #2, #1, #2. So
you gotta love the fact that there's competition in being the #1 author in the Christian youth ministry genre. There's a little bit of humor in that. But what I want to tell you, having worked with other authors, other writers that have published through Amazon and self-publishing, do this for Daniel. When you order your copy of the book, whether you buy it in hard copy or you buy it through Kindle, the confirmation, just copy and send it to him, because Amazon doesn't always record the number of sales. It doesn't always report it in a real-time manner. And as a new author and as a first-time author and a first-time published author, getting those little notices in the mail that somebody physically bought the book, when it doesn't show up on Amazon for 30 days, kind of keeps hope alive. So your Kindle edition is available still at 99
Yes, sir.
cents?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, the official launch date, like you mentioned, is October 2nd. And then we're having an autograph party. We're having actually a elite leadership conference October 6th, a Saturday, from 9 to 12 here in San Antonio. Me and my partner Wally, and from 12 to 1, we're actually having an autograph celebration.
So I have to send mine back to get it signed?
No, come on down. We're gonna have actually, talking about Kindle. Just to clarify some things out there, most people think you need a Kindle to buy the ebook version, the Kindle version, and you don't. So
no, and if you use Amazon, and I think it's on regular and Prime, if you buy the quote Kindle edition, they'll set you up an online reader account for free. It's Kindle Lite, or it's a Kindle version without having the hardware, but having only the technology side. So
yes.
So for 99 cents, commit, and buy the book, read the book, but go ahead and get online so that he can be the #1 Kindle edition new release author, and you can say, I know a #1 author. So on that, there's a couple things, and I do my research and I do my homework. So I was reading up, and I read the book yesterday, and yes, I read a lot. I have to say, I had to focus in hard, because 100 and some odd pages is a lot for me to kill off in an afternoon, but I did it. Loved it. What I love about the way you address the book is that you have different chapters with different words: persistence, courage, faith, but you introduce us to people in your life that taught you that lesson, or affirmed that lesson, or that modeled that lesson for you. What made you decide to sort of go back and find these people in your memory bank?
Probably like in the beginning of the year, like February, we were here, and I think it was around the Super Bowl time. We were watching the Super Bowl, and a friend of mine goes, you know what, you're going to be an author. And I didn't really I just kind of I can see you writing a book. She made a comment like that, and I was just like, whatever, right? But I had gone to the John Maxwell retreat in Orlando in March, I think is when it was. And, you're surrounded by authors, speakers, and I remember meeting a couple of authors, and I was just like, wow, that would be so cool to do that, right? I just had it kind of spoke to me, but I was like, like I met an author, right? Like it was amazing to me. I had never been in that environment, so it was something different. So I was excited about it. Well, then we ended up having a barbecue when I came back from the John Maxwell conference and JMT, and she goes, you're really going to write a book. And I just like, it hit me in the heart. I was like, that's God talking, right? So I just kind of, as I started my journey, I really had no idea what to do. And as I started writing, as my publisher coach, Darren, from 30 Days Self-Publish, he's amazing. He goes, you know what, this is your game plan, and just start writing 1 page a day. And as I started writing, it's like I just prayed, God, give me the wisdom, because put it this way, I kind of got discouraged because I started getting bids, and the first bid was like 22,000, and I was like, well, there goes that bid. And then I got another bid of 15,000. And to make a long story short, Darren worked with me, and it was still thousands of dollars, but it was more in my price point, and he really coached me along the way. He goes, just kind of let your mind flow and don't worry about what you're writing. Just start writing. And as I did that, it's like God just reminded me through the Holy Spirit of people in my life. And that's the way it panned out. And so the way I started is every chapter, the table of contents changed like 3 or 4 times, but I just kind of wrote out subjects I wanted to talk about. And then as the subjects came up, it just came back to mind people that were about that. So that's kind of how the people came into play. I know that was a long answer, so forgive me.
No. I'm going to be referencing it, you guys. So he has a chapter, Confidence, Speak Life, Trials Lead to Triumph, Dare to Dream, Persistence, Champions Attitude, Chapter 7, Help. I saw 7, Help. Help My Unbelief, Live to Forgive, Inspire, Win the Morning, Positive, Dissatisfaction, and You Were Born to Fly. So 12 chapters, 12 people. Not going to talk anything like, symbolic about you had 12 people in your life that helped you raise up your story. As I was reading through it, though, so what he does, and when you buy the book, you'll understand, he'll introduce the word courage or faith or persistence. He'll give us a definition or a lesson, or like puts it in a bubble that we can see it, and then takes it one step further by pulling it out and showing it where it impacted his life, where he learned the lesson, who modeled the lesson for him, and then challenges us to think along the same lines of where we're using it, not using it, should be using it, how we could use it in our lives. So I really like that it was, you could take each 12 and make it a 12-week learning series. You could take it a 12-day learning series, that you could break it down into edible chunks and really use it not just as a cover-to-cover read, but also as a journal and as a working point and a jumping point for you growing. It's very much along the 15 laws of growth that you showed us 15 principles in your life that have made you who you are. And so I love that idea of the book. And so now I'm going to quiz you on the book. On chapter 35, on page 35, do you remember what you said? Now he's scanning like, oh my gosh. I got it highlighted.
I have it right here. Look, I got my copy right here because I figured it was going to come up.
Did you sign your copy? Did you sign your copy?
What's that?
Did you sign one for you?
No, I signed one for my wife, though.
So, and I say this to other people that I know that have published and written, always sign a copy to you with like, great job, so proud of you, Daniel, and then sign your name, because there's the inner voice and the outer voice. And when you have that physical book and you sign a copy to yourself, it's connecting that inner voice and outer voice and having a tactile thing that you can pull down and go, you know what, Daniel, you can be proud of you. Here's the proof. So take a moment and sign one for yourself. That way, you finish the circle.
Yeah, that's actually a great idea. So thank you.
No worries.
But yes, on page 35, it says, all of us have the potential to overcome the setbacks and challenges we encounter. They make us stronger and help us develop our character. The challenges we face aren't what knock us down. It's our lack of understanding the lessons and opportunities behind them. Persistency creates consistency to fulfill a rewarding life.
So, and so you got yellow highlighted. That's a good thing. I love where you say persistency creates consistency to fulfill a rewarding life. talk on that, because I think so often we either go for persistence or we try and develop consistency. And I like the way that you put persistence before consistence.
You know, just being out there training, coaching, and just leadership development. Most people, how can I say? I guess in sales, we talk about sales, right? Because and when I do sales training, it don't matter how many skills you have. You can have the best skills, you can have the best personality, you can have the best negotiation, closing, whatever it may be having to do with sales. But most people fail one time, and when they fail one time, 98% of the people never come back and try it again. And in life, we fail one time because we lack the persistency to try again and try again and try again. And like in sales, in sales, before you get a yes, you're gonna go through nine no's. But most people, they go to that one no, they quit. They go to the two no's, they quit. They go to the three no's, they quit. And on the fourth no, they fail to follow up with the prospect. And they just quit altogether. They throw away the prospect's leads. But you got to remember, whether it's social media, whether it's following up with the customer when you're doing business to business, the first visit is just to introduce yourself. The second one, they kind of know who you are. And the third one, you start leaving a little bit of an impression of who you are or your brand or what you're offering. But most people don't even make it. I would say 90% of the people don't even make it past the third no. So you got to be persistent within knowing that it's like a seed that germinates, right? You have the soil here, you plant the seed here. Well, the seed starts to grow, and you're right here at the fourth no. And if you would just keep going to the eighth no, you would pop up above the soil. But you quit here because you're not persistent. But just the way God created a seed to push through the dirt, he didn't make it easy, because that's what makes it stronger. Most people, the persistence stops right here, and they never really see what's above the soil line. And they lack the persistence.
So I love, and what I respect about you is you are not ashamed to be a salesperson.
No.
And many of us in this creative entrepreneur self-development world sort of like, oh, salespeople, bad people, keep away. That, you know, they're nothing but slimy salespeople, or, you know, they're just trying to sell you ice and you're an Eskimo. And, you know, I hate when somebody's like, yeah, he's such a great salesman, he could sell you water in the middle of the ocean. And it's like, no, that's not what the art of selling is. That's what a con artist is, not a salesperson. Tell me how you keep the creative guy in check so that the sales guy can succeed.
It's easy. You just sell from the heart. I'll sum it up. I'll sum it up in two phrases to be a successful salesperson. I'll never forget. I went and saw Brian Tracy almost 20 years ago. I saw Brian Tracy, and I remember what he said like yesterday. He goes, "The most successful salespeople, 99% of them are nice. Simple. They're nice." And I think being nice goes a long way. I think being nice is undervalued. And the second one is when you sell from your heart, you transfer selling. This is my favorite quote when I train in sales is, selling is a transfer of trust. You transfer your trust to the customer because you're not selling them. You're building trust with them. And in return, you're finding out what their needs are, what their wants are. But most people go into sales meetings trying to pitch something, and you don't pitch it. You got to connect with those people. You got to, when you walk into an office, look at, like you, I see behind you, you have 3 pictures right away, right? I see that. I don't know what they say, but I notice stuff like that. So when you walk into somebody's office, if you're business to business, it's like, look at what pictures they have. Look at if they have a picture of golf. Look at the kids. Ask questions. As you're talking to your prospect or to your potential client, write down the children's names on a notepad. Be like a doctor, right? One thing I always learned from one of my great mentors, Mr. Domingo Vado. I ran his Chevrolet dealership for many years, and he's like a father figure to me. He always says, you're like a surgeon, right? You're like a surgeon, and the surgeon always goes back and practices his techniques. That's why he's a doctor. That's why he's a surgeon. He's a pro. And being a self-professional, you're a surgeon. You got to see yourself as a professional. And I think that's where most account executives, sales professionals, well, not even some salespeople fail because they don't see themselves as sales professionals. Like you said, they hide because they're like, I'm not a salesperson. I'm embarrassed of it. I'm like, hey, like you don't work for the CIA.
I love sales, and I work with sales, and I coach salespeople, and primarily realtors, and they all have that same. I'm not a salesperson. There's a couple things I want to rewind for everybody that you said. It's a transfer of trust, and you can't trust me until I know you, or until you think that I know you. And the only way I can get to know you is to ask questions. And so when the sales process starts with a question instead of a demand or a command, like, you got to buy this before midnight tonight. You're like, you don't even know if I'm going to be alive at midnight tonight. Why don't you get to know me? As you said, the transfer of trust. I trust the product, and I trust that I will only give the product to the person that it fits. So let me go and figure out if you're the person that this belongs to, because I don't want to give you something that doesn't fit, because that discredits my product, that discredits my service, that discredits my trust for the person that it's supposed to fit.
Exactly. Well, you know, one thing that I always, when you go in to meet somebody, you know, just talk about them for the first 10, 15 minutes. Don't even talk about you. Don't talk about the product. Find out what's going on in their life. Because a lot of times you'd be surprised. Everybody's going through stuff every day. And it goes back to, I always teach on the inverted triangle, right? So the inverted triangle is like this. So the top 15 to 20 minutes of your encounter should be building rapport. But most people, they teach on the regular triangle, which is the top point. They build rapport in 2 minutes, and then they want to sell your product. And you can't do it that way. So a good example is when it's the holidays, right? Let's say it's Thanksgiving, Christmas is coming up. What's the first thing everybody does? Hey, how you been, Mr. Reid? Catching up with you, Eric. How's things going?
Ford.
Yeah.
Sorry, wrong dealership. Same word.
Yeah, well, you just catch up, and you just kind of you know, how you been? We missed you. How the kids doing? That's what you do during the holidays with your family you haven't seen. So why not take that same approach as an account executive when you're going into the business, whether it's real estate, no matter what it may be, just build that rapport with them. And most people, that's the one bad thing about society nowadays is they want everything microwave, and you can't do it. You can't have instant gratification in sales. You got to build that trust. You got to build, first of all, connection, and you got to sell from your heart.
And I want to, before people start like, oh, I'm not in sales, I don't do that, I'm a nonprofit, et cetera, et cetera. Every moment of your day, you are selling something. Your heart, your purpose, your passion, your book, your widget, your wadget, your drink. We are always, I mean, you've got kids. I'm finally getting past the sales point. You know, my kids are now 8 and 9. They're less selling and more demanding. But even they know that they've got to sell me an idea. And so if you're thinking, well, I don't need to learn to sell, wrong. Anything that you have a value inside, if you want to build a legacy, create transformation, make an impact in the world, you got to be able to sell that. And I think one of the things that you said was, you got to go back and study. You got to go back and rehearse your techniques. You got to go back and follow your formula, those principles. And so often I see people that are creative, dream builders, you know, kind of thing will be like, well, I just got to go back and recreate my product, my pitch, my thing. And it's like, no, you haven't done it enough to figure out if it's the product or the process. Stay with the process, because the process is easier to tweak than the entire product is.
That's right. Well, what comes to mind when you said that, right? Just the best salespeople in the world, everybody has them in their house. Can you guess what it is?
my 4-year-old was.
Exactly, right? Just think about this. Down here in San Antonio, our big grocery chain that we have is H-E-B. So it never surprises me when we go to H-E-B and I go grocery shopping with my wife, and we're there and we're in the checkout line, and these parents are getting sold every day. How do they get sold? The kids reach over, they get a candy bar, they get a bubble gum, they hold on to that, And then when they get to the checkout line, they're like, no, put it back. And the kid goes, no, I want it. And what do? They cry a little bit. They close them.
Yeah, my kids are phenomenal salespeople. I think they listen outside my office because, like, my daughter always starts with, "You're such a sweet boy," and I'm like, okay, within the next 5 minutes, there's gonna be a one. She like warms up. My son always says like, "I want you to be happy, and would it make you happier if I bought the Ninjago Legos or the Marvel comic Legos?" I'm like, neither would make me happy, but I like that the fact that you included me. And I think you're so right that when we're doing sales and we're doing sales right, it's about building trust and about making sure that when we leave the process, the other person feels elevated, not our number on the board.
Yeah, and I think the main thing is just, but I'm gonna go back to another main reason though is most people don't have the confidence within themselves, and that's the key to
I know we have a
why they
chapter
don't
on
succeed.
that.
Yes,
Chapter number
and
one.
I'm gonna tell you that whether I train on leadership, whether I train on sales, or whether I do confidence coaching, the thing that holds people back is the value they see within themselves. Because if they don't believe in themselves, if they don't love themselves, if they don't trust themselves, they can't portray that. And that's one of the main ingredients you need in not just in sales but in life. Is most people undervalue themselves. That's why that's what God put in my heart to go out there and tell the world, right? Don't undervalue who you are, because you've already been approved by God. And most people don't value themselves the way they should. So they don't know how to sell themselves because they don't value themselves. And that's the reason.
Yeah, and that was chapter one in the book, you guys. See? I'm starting to memorize it. I was a horrible student. I couldn't, it would have taken me 2 months to read this book when I was in high school. So yeah, I thank you God I was the other night feeling like I had to, anyhow, I love the idea of confidence. And it's interesting because my background is in sales, but a strong focus in real estate. When I first began, we have a listing presentation in the real estate world. And it's like all about the sign and the lockbox and the company and the web. Like literally my first listing presentation looked this big. I felt that I had to read it from cover to cover with the client sitting across from me. I remember them nodding off halfway, but I kept going because I had to finish. Now, if I went on the same appointment, I would ask, what is it you need from me? And let me evaluate if I can do it. How did I gain the confidence? Not by reading the sales process 600 times before my first one, but by failing like 589 times. And then getting the one yes and be like, okay, it does work. I just not doing it enough. Exactly. And so I think for so many people that are watching this and that are going to be impacted by this and by your book, I think you really do tell that story a lot in the book about you failing and then having to go find. You know, I thought I was great at this and then somebody pointed that out. Or I thought I had enough faith and then there was a dark moment that really questioned it. And I think your wife is a wonderful example of failing and finding and then moving forward again. So what is the thing that you tell yourself up here when you're in, and we all know that, especially in sales, like, okay, I just need to hit the rip cord and jump because we're bombing here. Like this, I am like so far off in the woods, not making this thing happen. How do you get yourself either back in it or out of it with confidence?
You know, me and my son, we share a special bond since he was a little kid. Up the street, he lives his elementary. Their old elementary school is about a mile up the road. And my favorite quote is from Napoleon Hill: "A quitter never wins, and a winner never quits." And he couldn't ride his bike up this hill when he was in preschool and in kindergarten. And then he would come home and complain about it. I said, "Jay, come here." I call him Jay. His name's Julian. I said, "Son, always remember this. You might not ride up that hill today, but you will someday. So remember, a quitter never wins, and a winner never quits." And I never forget, he came home crying one day, and I was like, "What's wrong? What happened?" He's like, "Oh, he was just excited because he made it up the hill on his bike." And that's what, you know, whenever you tell yourself a quote and you have emotions attached to it, it sticks in your subconscious mind. And you know, to this day, that quote lives with me in my heart. And when I started this business, my son, guess what he was telling me? "Dad, a quitter never wins, and a winner never quits." Because there's a time, you know, believe me, no matter what, how much action you take, and you fail, like you said, there's that checkpoint of, am I going to do this or am I going to not do this? And I had mine probably. I've been doing this full time now since like probably January 22nd. So 4 months into it, I had my gut. It was my do or die moment. I had accounts, I had business, but it was just that limiting belief I had within myself. And my son goes, "Dad, I believe in you. Remember what you always told me." And you know, he has a way of talking to me. And "You told me that, Dad." And I was like, "I know that, son." So that's what carries me, is my son, my wife, and my kids.
My kid's 9, so hopefully we'll stick together until he's old enough to give me one of those lessons. Though he's getting, I see it as a dad. I see him starting to like internalize things. And so we do a walk every night, 30 minutes ish. Just he needs separation from the family. It's just his nature. And so we walk. And the other day, and I'm trying to like walk to get fit, and he's riding his skateboard thing. So like there's no effort on his part. And he said, "I'm going to start to coach you, okay?" I was like, "Oh, this will be interesting." So, you know, he's like, "You can't give up. If you give up, then I get to give up." And I was like, "Oh man, you are making it hard on me, dude." and now, and you know, so and now I have to pay him for his coaching, by the way. I'm glad his economic expectations are pretty small, though. But I think what you said about your son really reflects throughout the book that you've intentionally tapped into other people. And you've tapped into your wife when she gets up at 3:30 in the morning as accountability partner. You tapped in to your son to remember that I'm the one that sets the standard, and what do I want my son to become? I need to make sure that I don't lower the standard, because then he gets permission to. You've met so many wonderful people in the 12 chapters and introduced them as people that you either say, "You know what, this person brought me up or taught me where I needed to grow into." People are very important in your story and in your legacy. What is it that you want if I, in 5-10 years from now, included you in my book as one of the people or one of the 12 chapters, what would the lesson that you hope to pass forward be?
My lesson would be that you never know what you can accomplish until you take the first step. And you're stronger than what you believe. Most people undervalue their strength and what they have inside their potential. And everyone has a limitless potential. Their potential is limitless. They just don't realize it. So I would want my legacy to be that, you know, when Daniel came around, he helped me see that there was a next level in my life, that I am valuable. So this is my mission: to bring value to the valueless, to give hope to the hopeless, and to breathe life into the lifeless. So if I can add value, if I can breathe life, and if I can bring hope to somebody, then my mission was done. My legacy has been complete.
Just boom, dropped in my. I wish this wasn't live, because this is the part where I'd sit back and at the table and push my plate away and just be like, huh.
Well, I mean, and the reason I say bring life to the lifeless is, and I'll talk about that part of our mission, is because most salespeople, most leaders, most people in general, they don't succeed because their whole life they've been living in a shell, in a life that's not theirs. So that's why I say they're lifeless. They go to a job they hate, or they stay at a company because their mom told them that you need to be at this job for 30 years and retire. their dad told them, well, why do you want to take a chance when you shouldn't take a chance? And they're living a life that they don't want to live. So they're lifeless. It's like, you know, and then they spend their whole life, like John Maxwell says, right? You spend your whole life going up the corporate ladder. And then you get to the top of the ladder, you got the big house, you got the big car, you got the Mercedes, whatever it is. And guess what? You're on the wrong building.
Yes. Amen. Yeah. That's really when people ask me, what is success life? Why success life? It's not about becoming, quote, successful. It's about living life successfully. And that requires that we live it fully and into our life, and not just into some kind of blueprint that somebody else designed. So much. You guys, this is the buy the book part. And it's on sale through Kindle edition on Amazon for 99 cents. But truthfully, I can't do Kindle because if you look at your book, there's a bunch of yellow spots in it. And then there's a bunch of ACT, Act, Train, Learn, or Act, Change, Teach. And so I have to have it this way, even though don't write me and say, you can do that with Kindle, you use a highlighter. I like going in a place by myself with a friend and sitting down and getting to know them that way. So the technology
let me ask you a
gets
question. Let me ask you a question. How do you like the reflection checkpoint? How do you like the reflection checkpoint?
I like them. To be honest, I didn't do them yesterday. So for those that haven't read the book yet, so at the end they have reflection checkpoints, and he asks questions that are related to the chapter, like what are you most grateful for? Do you practice gratitude daily? I really like them. I didn't honor the questions by doing them because, again, the second time through, I'm probably going to go through and do one of those checkpoints either as a day or a couple day reflection, because I think the questions are very well written and very important. But again, because it came yesterday at 3 o'clock in the mail, and I knew we were meeting this morning, had I started them, I probably would still be on reflection checkpoint number 1. So I didn't honor the questions. I say that with integrity, but that's okay. You know.
But at least the feedback was good.
So this is the Fun Friend Friday fun card part. So for those of you who are watching for the first time that don't know what Fun Friend Friday cards are all about, inside each one of these magical little envelopes is a word, kind of like Daniel's book. I'm going to move sorry, I was going to move this over here so I could at least
I'm looking away real quick because I'm sharing it. Now that we're both
go ahead.
Keep
sharing. So. Everybody take a minute and share it out if you already haven't, because this is instructional point, and Joseph doesn't have to type words of wisdom right now because we love Joe for his wisdom dissemination filtration thing. So inside each of the envelopes is a word, much like Daniel's book, like legacy, like consistency, like growth, like influence, like intentionality, like the law of trade-offs, is listed inside each of these envelopes. I'm going to ask Daniel in a minute to pick an envelope, and then he's going to teach on it for 3 to 5 minute with Maxwell. But since we're not as good, we have to go a little longer and just pour into it. So, but before we start that, I got to go over here. Oh, no, wait, I'm messing up my entire system. I did find the music again, just so everybody that was here last week was like, what happened to the no music?
Hey, Eric, I got to say, I love your energy, man. I love your energy.
It's the shirt. It has nothing to do with
I love the energy. Shirt. I just got to tell you that. I love your energy. And
I don't know. I was watching. So y'all, if you haven't seen, go to Daniel. Daniel has a YouTube, a couple of videos of him teaching and just him teaching. And it's like, geez, I would not want to be in the gym with you at 5:30 in the morning, because you'd be the annoying guy that comes in and high fives everybody as you walk past the treadmills and cheers the guy on the rope thing. I'd be like, shut up, it's 5:30 in the morning. Now your wife probably walks in quiet and respectful, but not you. I know you.
So Eric, you sound like my daughter Alicia. My daughter Alicia says that, she goes, Dad, you really got to wake us up at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning with your what? Oh, this is what my daughter Alicia says. Dad, you gotta wake me up with your chanting.
You're chanting.
Chanting.
Oh.
Yeah, because I wake up and I say, I have what got me to where I'm at. I read Think and Grow Rich, and back when I resigned from my job to take care of my wife, and that book really ministered to me. And so when I read it, it talks about your definite chief purpose. And I ended up going online and I found Bruce Lee's Chief Definite Aim. And that really ministered to me. And I just kind of took Bruce Lee's and I kind of tweaked it to my own version. And I've been saying it every day for the last almost 10 months already, 11 months.
That's persistence.
Yeah, that's persistence. And, talking about what keeps me going is when you tell yourself your chief definite purpose every day, twice a day for 10, 11 months, it registers in your brain. So even when you want to give up, you don't give up because it's already programmed into your mind.
So true. And I do an exercise with my coaching clients where I'll ask them just to do it, not like uncoached, unscripted, unplanned. And then they bring it back and then we talk about it and they're like, oh, that's not it. And it takes, you can borrow from Bruce, but you've internalized it. It takes a while to really get the note that vibrates.
Yes.
And once it does, it sticks. It sticks. So we have, just so everybody knows, we have Blue Diamond, Red Balloon, Yellow Moon, Rainbow. These are the Lucky Charms food marshmallows. Green Clover, Orange Diamond, and Pink Heart. So as you and the rest of the audience decide what you're going to do, we have to play a little bit of our theme song. Thank you for being a friend. I always love when somebody's equally old like me that they actually remember when it was on TV as a new show.
I like that song.
It's funny. I didn't know that. I know this sounds really sad. The guy that wrote its name is Andrew Gold. I didn't know he was actually like a real musician. I thought he just like wrote theme songs, but he actually has a whole album. I was like,
you thought he just wrote scores?
So I appreciate you being here with us on Fun Friend Friday. Did you find your envelope? Greg is saying go with the moon. But you can pick what you love.
So do I get to pick?
You get to pick.
Let's go. You know what? Let's go with the rainbow because the Bible talks about the rainbow, that it's a promise from God. So we'll go with the promise from God with the rainbow.
All right.
No more.
Don't expect this to be quite so biblically impactful. It's just a little card that I made up one day. And if you guys know Nathan Cook, this started as a joke with Nathan, and so it's stuck ever since. And so in the spirit of, your word is curiosity. I don't think we have that. No, we don't have that one in the book.
No, we don't have that one in the book. Curiosity. So do I give my definition of curiosity or
teach us? Teach us. You got your minute with Maxwell, and you're stalling.
Curiosity is an amazing thing because when you're curious about something, that means you have some interest. So don't let fear keep you from taking that step and trying that new curious thing, because it might just be that curious thing that is your passion, that's your love. So cross that fear line and be curious like a cat and step over that line of fear, and it might be your future life waiting for you. Curiosity.
I love it. So perspective I had never thought of was that when we're curious, it really is that we're already being pulled towards it. We just haven't finished exploring it. That you're never curious about something you're not interested in.
Yeah. And because what happens is we're curious about it, and then we say, oh, I can never do that. Or say you're with a friend or somebody that you're curious about it and they don't like it. They're like, oh, that's a dumb idea. You're like, you know what? You're right. But remember, the dream is for you. It's not for your wife. It's not for your friend. It's not for your son or for your family member. The dream is for you. If you're curious about it, go after it. Cross the line.
So now you just, because I'm a visual seer or thinker, you just sort of gave me this idea that like curiosity is the little angel on your voice that's whispering, this is your opportunity, walk towards it. That it is a divine, it is a divine, like, dude, shut up, go here, finish, like, go. That curiosity is us being called to our next place.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because I have my old me here and I have my new me here. And my old me, he doesn't like change a lot, but my new me is very curious. So those days that this old guy wants to say, nah, you don't want to try that. Why do you want to do that? Nah, you're okay. This new guy is saying, come on, Daniel, let's go make it happen. Let's try it. It's exciting. It looks good. Just do it. If you don't like it, you don't like it. If you like, you never know, you might love it.
I love, yeah. Curiosity and wisdom go together, and somebody just reminded me that. I like that. I like your. I'm gonna have to incorporate that, because I've always seen curiosity sometimes is a bit of a distraction, like, you know, like the shiny object syndrome that I sometimes can fall victim to. But I like the way you've really painted it more as curiosity is the voice of what's next for you, trying to get your attention.
Well, if it has that magnetic attraction to us, because you have to remember, like when you read a book, right? When you read a book, you read it the first time and it says one message to you. Well, if you read it 6 months later, the same book's going to speak to you a different way, because you're a different version of who you are. You've grown, so your mindset's going to be different. So what I'm saying is, you never know what you really, how can I say this? You just got to you just got to try it. You just got to be curious to what you're what's attracted to you, because as you change, the things you're attracted to change. As you grow, your frequency changes, so the things that are going to be attracted to you are going to be like for instance, I'm getting my confidence coaching funnel going, you know, to help more people across the country or across the world. And I've been thinking about, you know, doing a program for my coaching online, and just couldn't find a person. And finally I said, you know, I went to the New Media Summit last couple of weeks ago, and I just did it. I just said, you know what? I said, why am I going to hire somebody that maybe does one funnel, right? But like you said, hire somebody that does 10,000 funnels, and they're pros at it. Because it's not about the funnel. It's about really wanting to reach thousands of people that really need help, that need that confidence that they're missing in their life. So I agree.
It's funny because, as I said, for me and the old me, to read this would have been painful, and not the quality of the book. But as I began to become more curious about being a coach, being an influencer, being a catalyst of change, I knew I needed more tools, more resources, more knowledge. And so I'm typically reading something like this a week, if not more, because I do about 200 pages a week. And it's discipline, but at the same time, it's passion. And I will pick up a book and I'll be pulled into it. As you suggest in the book, and again, you guys, this is not Daniel promoting the book. This is me promoting the book. Read it twice, because the first time I do often read a book to like just get to know the person, get to know the author, get to know the story, get to know the content. And then the second time through, I'll often put myself into the book and start pulling and using and utilizing. It was interesting. I was at a conference with educators the other day, and the literary expert for youth was talking about when we read a book to children, especially younger books, the first time we do what's called a picture walkthrough. And we don't even read the words. We just identify the pictures. We ask questions about the pictures. We get them to just like, oh, you know, do you think he wrote the book? Well, why do you think he wrote the book? Well, his name is on the cover. Yeah, often. And so you teach them through the pictures. So when they come through the second time to read the story, they have 2 points of reference, the picture and the words. And so I think as we get older, some of our books have fewer pictures. You do have to read it twice because you've got to get that landscape all painted out. You got to get all those images in place, and then you get to walk through it with the words the second time. And so,
I'm going to give you a little tidbit for your realtors and for those salespeople out there.
All right, salespeople, thumbs up. You're getting it from a pro. He won awards as a sales guy and a sales manager.
You said something profound there. Most people don't realize that as your personality, because there's 4 different personalities. You got your driver, expressive, amiable, and analytical. Your driver personality, which is probably about 40 to 50% of the population out there in America, they're not good listeners. So when you're doing your, sometimes the driver comes out in me, right? I'm an expressive driver, so most of the time I'm the expressive. But when the driver comes out, I don't listen because that's the way I'm wired. It's not that I do it on purpose, but we say that because you said something profound. If you're presenting and you're talking to a client or a potential client or prospect, show them a picture, write it out. As you talk about it, give them something visual to see, because most people, they're going to forget what you hear, but they're going to remember what you see. And most people are visual and kinetic or audio. You got to use all 3 senses. But most people don't do that. They just go in there and talk, and then the client or the prospect forgets what they say, or whether it's in realtor, you're showing a house. You know what? If you're going to show a house, take a picture of take it upon yourself to go the extra mile and take a description of the house and give it to your client, right? Or take I don't know if you would call it a one sheet as a realtor, but take a one sheet about what you've done and have one of your customers that's bought a house write a letter of how you made them feel. And there's nothing better than a referral or a letter of recommendation. But I guarantee you most realtors don't do that because they're lazy.
And I'll have to agree. So you and I both have been through disc courses. So, and just as a side note, we could talk about sales techniques until y'all drop over dead, because it's kind of like geeking out on sales. So the other good thing about having the testimonial is if you go through the DISC, D-I-S-C, the S personality has to bond with others. They like the status quo. They like knowing what others are doing before they make a decision. And if you're the sales guy, they're not going to feel confident bonding with you as quickly as confident as they would be bonding with the 4 or 5 people that you presented testimonials to, because they're community. So now they have a safe place to join up. So if you're in sales, if you're developing a business that's going to require you to promote and pitch an idea, take a moment and ask people to do a visual, to do a written, to create a testimonial link. So those people that need to feel connected to other people before they make a decision, the S, can have those resources available to them. And
so let me say this, Eric. It goes back, and ladies and gentlemen, it's not going to be perfect the first time.
It doesn't have to be.
Like Eric said, just do it once, do it twice, do it 3 times, and it gets easier. Have confidence in yourself, because the more you do it, the more you're going to believe in yourself, and the more confidence you're going to have of who you are.
I love it. See, that's why, and what I do have to commend you on, and again, niche marketing, Chris and Kim are here. You labeled yourself as a confidence coach or confidence. You understood your strength was in building confidence through technique, through systems, through processes, and through inspiration and impact. And you weren't afraid to go narrow, to go big.
Amen.
So I really like that about you. Confidence.
You know, and I want to give a shout out to Manura. She's a JMTer also.
See,
we did Manura.
Is she here?
I don't know if Manura is here or not.
Oh, Manura, I know her. She and I did 15 Laws together.
Yeah, well, Manura, we talked, and I was on her podcast, and out of the blue, I didn't even ask her to do it. She came back, just a loving person she is, and she says, Daniel, I have your name. I was like, what's my niche, Manura? And you know what? She blew me away. She really did. She goes, Daniel, you're Daniel Gomez, the confidence whisperer.
Oh,
So from now on, my confidence coach name is going to be Daniel Gomez, the confidence whisperer.
somehow I
So
don't
thank you,
think
Manura.
confidence and whisper belong in the same sentence as Daniel Gomez. Confidence, yes. Daniel Gomez, yes. The whisper part, I'm having a hard time seeing how we work that into the brand and packaging. But I guess a whisper can be a mighty voice heard with clarity.
Exactly. Sometimes like it says, like sometimes, God comes as a breeze, sometimes as a lion, or sometimes that confidence comes as just a little whisper saying, you know what, you got this. And sometimes that's all we need.
I love that. You phenomenal. So again, I'm gonna promote your book because a lot of people are always like embarrassed to promote themselves, but you have confidence, so you don't. So the title, because I know it's backwards, You Were Born to Win, Be the Original, Be the Best, Be You, or I'm sorry, Be You. Daniel Gomez, available on Amazon. Hardbacks were shipped out yesterday, or hard copies were yesterday.
Yeah. The hard copy is available on Amazon. You can buy it right now. You'll get it if you order it today. You'll get it by Saturday.
Yeah, or if you're a Prime member, you get it the next morning.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. There you go. And the ebook is going to launch. So please, 99 cents. Invest 99 cents in yourself, and help me to be a bestseller. I promise you, I promise you, you're gonna walk away with 2 golden nuggets, and I can say that because I wrote it from my heart. I didn't put junk out there because honestly, I wanted the book to be out, Eric, by August 15th. It just didn't work out that way because as we revised it, I say I don't like it, and I want to add value. The whole thing is I value people, so when they invest in this, I want them to get value from it. So we went back to the drawing board. We re-edited it, and the finished product took about a month and a half longer. But I got to say, I'm ecstatic the way it came out because I really believe that people will find value in it.
And do that at 99 cents, folks. I don't even know if they tax the Kindle version, but if they do, $1.15. To watch a grown man cry on Facebook Live on October 3rd when he launches as #1 in his category, #1 Amazon Kindle, that's got to be worth $1. Watching somebody's dream be materialized and that's what I love about being a coach and being a catalyst is I get to stand on the sideline and watch people's victories. And that is just like a goosebump moment for me. So for 99 cents, you get to have a goosebump moment by watching him get his book in Amazon and Kindle and beat that other Christian youth author to the ground.
I was crying yesterday, so
I saw that, and I had to laugh because you were like, "Oh man, this is just gonna kill me at the gym in the morning." You're gonna walk in and go to do the rope thing, and they're just gonna play that over the camera, and you're just gonna have to break down and give up. Thank you again, though, for the book. It was a pleasure yesterday to sit down and read it. I do promise I'll go back through it and do the homework.
Awesome.
And like I said, I really see it as a great tool to pick one of the chapters and do it as a 12-week. There's no reason to have to consume it at 90 miles an hour. There's 12 chapters, 3 months worth of personal growth. Take a chapter a week and just say, okay, I'm going to read into it. I'm going to answer the questions, then I'm going to develop it into my life, and then I'm going to reflect on the impact it's having on my life. And then I'm going to go out and I'm going to seek my person of courage or my person of perseverance or any of the other 12 chapters. I'm going to start to incorporate those kind of people in my life intentionally so that at the end of 12 weeks or the end of the 12 chapters or the 12 lessons, I will have built a stronger network of growth and support that can encourage me to become the person that I want to become. And so really honor the book for the gift that Daniel has made it for us.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Hey, no, true. Are you doing anything online soon?
As far as like a class,
Yeah.
well, I got as a matter of fact, after this call, I got another call at 8:30, and I'm gonna be it's kind of like my program for my for the funnel. So I gotta start working on that. So that's probably gonna take about 2 months, give or take. Hopefully sooner. But
So you're
that'll be
doing the
coming out.
30. You're doing the 30, and oh no, that ended. But you're doing ClickFunnels, Russell.
No, actually, I went with Steve Osher and his team. They're gonna kind of help me put that out and lay it out. And but right now, if anybody is out there listening or watching us, needs any confidence coaching, just go to my website, danielgomezspeaker.com, and inbox me. And I am taking on new clients. I'm getting my Canly up and running also to get that kind of squared away. But for the moment, if you feel you need a little bit of strength, and I want to challenge the men out there, because men, sometimes our pride gets in the way, and we need that accountability partner. And I coach from my heart with confidence. So if you feel you need some confidence, if you feel you need just that extra elevation, inbox me on my website, danielgomezspeaker.com, or email me at danielgomezspeaker.com. And I'll be more than glad to give you a free 30-minute consultation. And then we can take it from there. It's no strings attached. I mean, I'm a big giver, so I believe you give 30 minutes and God will bless you back.
and I gotta back into and amen the men piece, because women, I grew up in a house of 4 sisters. They have no problem asking for help, communicating needs, wants, desires. Their culture, their communication skills are built around that. Whereas men, to admit that I might need somebody else, it becomes a really interesting dynamic up here. But what I found as a coach is, once I can get them like off into the corner just long enough to realize that nobody's watching, nobody's evaluating, nobody's comparing. This isn't a competition of who's the better man, and it's not an admission of guilt. It's like, hey, I can't fix a car, so I take it to a mechanic. There's something in my life that's not running the way I want it to run. I go to somebody that may have a different perspective to guide me into diagnosing it right. And, I think oh, you just inspired me. I'm going to have to get a t-shirt, Real Men Hire a Coach.
There you go. I love that.
Nobody steal it. I don't have time today to print them. But yeah, Real Men Hire a Coach. And I think in our culture, what Western culture, the States here, we've broken that fellowship. We've broken that familia kind of thing that other cultures and our predecessors had, to have that communication, to have that fellowship, to have that mentor in our life. And so, yeah, Real Men Hire a Coach.
Man.
I'm
going to borrow that, though. I'm just letting you know I'm going to borrow that.
only if I ship you this and I get it back signed. So I appreciate you jumping in and being a friend this morning. You have added so much value and so much wisdom. It has been an honor and a pleasure to have you. Do me a favor when we wrap, if you would go ahead and just post the link to the book somewhere in the feed so that everybody can quickly find it, because we've talked about it a lot. Again, it is now available in the hard version, and the Kindle, Amazon, whatever reader is going to be released on October 2nd. So go out, get your copy, get into it, and get to know Daniel. I mean, phenomenal. Go check out his website or his YouTube videos.
Thank you.
I had a good time.
And just a quick note, you don't have to have a Kindle to get the Kindle version. You can download it to your computer, or you can download the Kindle app to your iPhone or your Android. So many people have their misconception that you need a Kindle. You don't need a Kindle. You just need when you purchase it, they'll send you an email and it'll come as a download to your computer, or if not, to your smartphone or your iPhone. So
I need to call Kendall and really talk about developing a marketing campaign that says it's not all about the hardware, so that people understand that the Kindle is really a reading platform, not a hardware platform.
Yeah, I've had, like, no joke, I probably had about 40 people tell me that. I'm like, okay, you don't need a Kindle.
They're pretty cheap, like under 100. So yeah, you can get the Kindle. And if you don't believe Daniel, you can do it without a Kindle. He will refund your money if you can't read it on whatever device you buy it through.
I'll PayPal the $1 right away with interest.
There you go. So challenge him. See if you can knock him off his knowledge. Thank you, everybody. Do me a favor and share this out today. But as you share it out, drop a little bit. I'm sharing this because I learned this, I saw this, it taught me, so that when your audience, your friends, your family, your peers, whoever's in your Facebook feed see it, they understand why you're encouraging them to watch it. For me, I love the fact that we could geek out on sales. Maybe we'll have to come back and do that another day. I think sales is a wonderful opportunity to be of service to people if it's done right. And so,
you mind if I say a blessing for your audience before we leave?
Go for it. And then we'll just end after that.
All right. Lord Jesus, Father, just the hundreds just listening, thousands listening across this country, Lord. I speak a blessing of your favor, of your mercy, of your grace, Lord. And if any man, child, or woman are out there lacking confidence, I speak a blessing of confidence this morning over them in Jesus' name, your love. Bless the works of everybody's hands today, Father, and we thank you, Lord. Bless my brother Eric for just having me on this podcast, Lord, and we ask all of this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you. Amen.
Amen.
I'm not going to top it, so I'm just going to say thank you for being here with me on Fun Friend Friday, and we'll talk soon offline.
It was fun. Thank you, man. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye, everybody. Have a good Friday. See you on Monday morning.
God bless y'all.